Hello everyone, welcome to the fifth video in our 5-part video series, How to Keto A to Z. In this video, we're going to be talking about fasting and intermittent fasting. We have 4 other previously recorded videos. If you haven't had a chance to watch those yet, you can find them all in our Facebook group, Health for Business Success. If you just search the hashtag How to Keto, you'll find them. The first one we talked about how to get into keto, how to get started. In the second video, I showed you guys all the foods that we have in our pantry and in our refrigerator and the items that we eat when we're doing keto. In the third video, we talked about glucose, blood sugar monitoring, ketone monitoring, and lab work that you might want to order. And in our fourth video that we just did was on fats and cholesterol and healthy fats for doing keto. And now today we're talking about fasting. So say hello in the comments. Let us know that you're here. And let me go ahead and introduce myself. My name is Lacey Maloney. I am a health coach. This is about the 4th time that I've done keto, and we're doing fasting, intermittent fasting along with it. I'm a big fan of keto because it's something that I was really skeptical about when I first heard about it. And it was something that I said, well, I'm going to have to try this for myself and see how this works and see if this could actually work for people and for my clients, or if it was just an anomaly that, every now and then I would hear a story about how great keto was, but could it really be that good? And it wasn't until I tried it for myself and said, oh yeah, okay, I see what keto is all about. And now I'm a raving fan and I love sharing it and talking about it, and was even able to convince my husband to join me in doing keto. And he was a big skeptic at first too. So why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hi, everyone. Most of you guys know me as an appraiser. That's really the appraiser advocate. It's kind of what I'm known for. But way before I was an appraiser and an advocate for appraisers, I was actually a health and physical education teacher. So I went to college, I became a health and phys ed coach, and I taught school for several years. Throughout the years, I've continued to be a health and physical fitness advocate. And so that's part of how Lacey and I connected in terms of her interest in health. She forced me to do keto. I'm only kidding. There's reasons why I want to do keto. I'm doing keto, and we'll get more into them as we continue with the seminar.
Great. So before we get too far into this, I want to let you guys know we're doing a giveaway, and all you have to do is drop in the comments and tell us, are you doing keto? Are you just here because you want to learn? If you've done keto, tell us about your experience doing it. If you haven't done keto, tell us about, what other experiences you've gone through. And then we're going to pick someone towards the end of the session today to send you guys a free book. So you get to choose one of these keto books. I was going to just pick this one, but I thought, well, what if you already had it? So you could also pick one of the other two. So this one is The Keto Diet from Leanne Vogel. This is a great book. It covers everything. It also has a lot of really good recipes in there and cool pictures too. So it makes it an easy read. And then we have Fat for Fuel by Dr. Mercola. This is an excellent book. I love all of these books. And Keto Clarity by Jimmy Moore is another favorite. So we'll let you guys pick. Whoever the winner is gets to pick their books. So we'll do that in a little bit. Let's see, we have Jason, we have Shannon here, we have Bart says hello. Hi, Bart.
Hey, Bart.
We have Matt here. Thanks for joining us, guys, on this Saturday. So let's get started talking about fasting. What is fasting? Well, basically, it's any time that you're not eating, you are fasting. Of course, we all know breakfast, break the fast, right? That doesn't have to necessarily be at 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. It could be your break fast could happen much later on in the day, as Ron and I are going to talk about in just a little bit when we do our break fast. So basically all it is when you're not eating. And the reason why it's so popular with keto is because it's very easy to do when you're doing keto. Before, I never would have thought of doing fasting. I wouldn't have thought I could do it. I would have said, well, that just sounds like torture. I get
It
the
can be.
hangry. I'm the type who gets like, when I'm hungry, I want to eat, and I'm not gonna like push myself to not eat and force myself not to. That just doesn't sound like fun. And why would I want to do that? Okay, there's health benefits, yes, but still, like, that just doesn't even sound like fun, or that I would even be able to do it. But when you're doing keto, because you're using your own stores of fat for fuel, you don't need to rely on food, and that's what makes it so much easier to do when you're doing keto, and so popular when doing keto. So now Ron and I, we do intermittent fasting. So, and there's many ways you can do it. The most important thing though is that when you're doing fasting, you do what's good for you, and you don't have to push yourself and torture yourself. If you are hungry, do eat. Don't feel like you have to starve yourself or make it complicated, because then you're going to be going into that starvation mode in your body. So that's also another difference, is you want it to be a controlled fast. You want to be in control and feel, you might get a little bit of hunger pangs. Yeah, you might have a little bit of hunger, and if you have a little water or some electrolytes, that'll get you through it. And it's also breaking that habit of eating. We get so used to eating regularly, having your 3 meals and having your snacks at certain times. And so that's just another thing to be aware of. Are you really hungry, or is it just that habit that you're looking to, get your food fix from?
I'm surprised at how full I am during the day from just what we eat, and that I really don't experience many hunger pains. And it is different because we used to eat throughout the day much more.
Mm-hmm.
I think you get used to, or we got used to eating throughout the day, almost out of habit, but really don't need to. And sometimes I think it's a bad habit.
Yeah. Yeah. Then you can overeat.
But with keto, I really have to say I'm full most of the time. It's true.
Yeah. So that's why, fasting is so popular with keto. And again, with the starvation, you don't want it to be like, you're hungry. You just came off of like having, Christmas break, and you were just indulging yourself and desserts and everything and having lots of junk. And then you jump into a fast that you're really going to feel. And that's going to hurt. And you probably don't want to do it that way. Some people will get themselves into ketosis though through a fast, and probably those people are more used to doing fast, maybe even for religious reasons. Maybe they've done fasting before.
Italians have it much harder.
Yes. All that pasta and cannolis that you like.
Yeah. I just had to say that.
Can't help yourself.
No.
We are live.
Sorry, guys.
We are live.
Okay. Oh, really? Okay.
So that's not the best way to start, is to, come off of like a sugar high. That's really gonna test yourself. So when you're in ketosis and you're already used to burning fats, then you can just kind of almost forget about eating and go for a longer period of time. And then if you do need to get, a little bit of food, maybe after 12 hours or something, then you can have something. But you can even extend it a little bit longer. You'll be surprised. So some of the benefits. So,
what about a cheat day, a so-called cheat day? What are your feelings towards that?
Well, yes, you can have a cheat day. Okay, so let's just talk about that right now.
Do you think they're good for you to have a cheat day once in a while?
It's good to have a cheat meal, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want, and cheat day could mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people. So are you having like a sweet potato for your carbohydrates, or potatoes, vegetables? Are you having grains?
Pizza, cannolis, ice cream?
Right. That's the kind of cheat day that is it really going to set you back? You don't want to be doing that. You don't want to have a cheat where, you're just going off the rails, and then
so it's different to go on a cheat day, but still, so really a cheat day is probably adding more carbs. but good carbs, like you were saying, like sweet potatoes, rather
Yes.
than, and all aside from kidding around, not a whole bunch of cannolis.
Right. Not, you don't want the
or-
sugar and the refined carbohydrates
Right.
for your cheat day. Now, of course, we love desserts too. Okay, if we're gonna go out for dinner
They
and
can
it's
tell
gonna
that.
be a cheat day,
They know
we
it.
might share like a brownie or something, and yeah, it's the real deal. But what you don't want to do is go and just have, overkill, right? I mean,
And if you eat the vast majority of your meals clean,
yes.
so to speak, and say you're eating, well, 12, how many meals are we eating? Two a day, 14, 15 meals. So if you were to eat, maybe cheat on one or two, probably wouldn't have much of an effect.
Overall, no. If you've already been deep into ketosis, overall, like I can have higher amounts of carbs and get right back into ketosis, no problem. But that's because I've done this a few times. You, on the other hand, still, you're like, he keeps getting so close to like being in deep ketosis, but I think he still is just not eating enough fat.
Well, I wasn't
You
in
have to
deep
get your brain
ketosis
around
once.
that.
What was it, last week?
But I'm talking about like for a prolonged period of time,
not for a prolonged period of time.
not just for like a day
Well,
or a moment.
You don't know about the chocolate bar that I have in my
That
desk.
explains it. That explains why you're not in ketosis like I am. So what are some of the benefits of fasting? Obviously for ketosis, you can get into much deeper ketosis when you're doing fasting. Your body doesn't have any glucose to use up. It's going to use up all of your glucose in your muscles and in your liver. And now you're left with your ketones from your fat. So that gets metabolized and used for energy. So it's improved fat burning, improved mental clarity and concentration. I noticed this just with doing ketosis anyways and our shorter intermittent fasting. But some people will use a longer fasting and go from maybe 24 hours to up to 72 hours and really get their ketones cranking and that real mental clarity. Of course, for weight, for fat loss, it helps with lowering your blood insulin and your blood glucose levels. Insulin is a store of fat. Insulin is your hormone that wants to push fat back into your cells. So that's why when you have lowered insulin and lowered glucose, now we can finally let the fat come out and burn fat. It helps improve energy. It helps improve human growth hormone.
Yeah, I mean, the energy is because in part you're not using so much energy to digest your food.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
And people don't realize how much energy that does take.
Digestion is the most stressful thing that your body does. It takes a lot of energy.
Yeah.
You don't even know that your body's doing it, but it is going through a lot when it's digesting food. It helps improve your cholesterol levels. It helps reduce inflammation. It saves you time and money. So when you're going back to eating, you're going to be eating, I want to say like the normal amount of food that you would have typically eaten had you not been, scrunching down your fasting window. So Ron and I will eat in about an 8-hour window. That's when we eat all of our food. 6 to 8 hours. Now that the daylight it's getting longer, we used to eat dinner about 4 o'clock, and now we seem to be pushing it back about 5 o'clock. But that works for us, and so I'm not too worried about it. The days are getting longer, so I feel like we should be eating a little bit later, but we were eating at about 4 o'clock. But you're still not eating as much in that window, in that time frame. Like we're not snacking, we're not buying like extra things to eat.
We're actually eating better quality food.
Yes.
In part because we don't eat as much junk food, and so we spend a little bit more money on organic food, grass-fed food, fed food, right?
Grass-fed meats.
Meats, yep. So organic, we really kind of don't spend more money. We just spend it differently.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you don't have to spend as much time in the kitchen and as much time planning, what am I going to eat? Do I need to bring a snack and all of that? So it saves you a lot of time. And then one of the biggest things that fasting can do is turn on a process called autophagy. which I'm going to get to in just a minute. I'm going to read some of these comments over here. But autophagy is why so many people who do keto don't have this saggy excess skin when they lose all the weight. It's pretty fascinating. So Shannon says, I'm wanting to learn. I've been doing a lower carb diet, but not keto. It seems to work for many that I know. I have been intermittent fasting as well. All right, nice. Bart says, been doing keto for 4 months and I'm down 60 pounds, going for the full blood test at the end of the month. All testing at home, it's going great.
Wow.
Nice, Bart. That is awesome.
Else too, sure.
Matt says, I have no problem fasting. One of my problems is when I start eating, I can't stop.
Mm-hmm. It seems like the more you eat, Matt, the more you want to eat. That's how I feel.
When you are eating, one thing you might want to realize is what is it that you eat? Are they refined carbohydrates, or is it easy to digest carbs? Because that can make you really, all of a sudden your body, if you're getting those carbohydrates, is like, yay, finally, and that really can crank and turn on your desire to eat again.
Mm-hmm.
If your purposes of doing fasting is for ketosis and you introduce fats and a fat heavy meal with low carbs, moderate protein, that's our dog, sorry, moderate protein, then that should hopefully signal your body, hey, we're burning ketones now, because a lot of people will use fasting to get into keto. And so when they break their fast, that meal is really important. So if you're doing keto, make sure you're getting a lot of fat into that meal that you're going to break your fast with. So when I break my fast in the morning, I'm having bacon and butter. And I know, like, it's crazy. Okay, I know. I get it. Like, Ron thinks I'm crazy.
Well,
I think it's crazy too.
It's a little difficult to wrap your head around.
It is. Eating, I get it.
Butter and bacon.
I know. It seems like the
really
worst
does.
thing ever.
And I was even saying today when we were having breakfast that I've cut out having butter for so long, thinking it wasn't good for you.
Right.
That I really don't have the same taste for it like I once had, or desire for it. So I'm sort of working that in, and that has been my problem. I've dropped my carbs and sugars, quite a bit. Not that they were over the top to begin with, but quite a bit. But I still have to eat more fats in order to really get into ketosis. That still has been my challenge.
Well, and I have tried to eat other things too. Trust me. I tried having, like, my standard breakfast before we did keto. It was kale and eggs.
Yeah.
We'd have this big kale salad and 2 eggs. And I liked eating that. So when I went to keto, I said, well, maybe I can have kale and butter, or maybe I can have kale and bacon and butter. Like, I kept trying to get, like, my veggies in and and even now I try and have eggs or avocado. I try and change up some nuts. No matter what I do, the best thing that I have is when I do bacon and butter. And I know it's insane, and that's why I did my blood testing after 5 months of doing that. Like, that was literally all I had for 5 months. And I'm going to do it again because I want to, like, is there underlying inflammation that could be caused by having all the bacon? I do cook it at 350. I do go out when we go out to eat, and I will eat the bacon at the restaurant. I'm not worried about how they cooked it and all of that. I just eat it. But overall, the keto diet is an anti-inflammatory diet anyhow. So maybe I'm getting some benefits from that, but I don't think keto's really, I don't think bacon is really contributing to inflammation.
Right. But you also buy the bacon you buy is different than what we might get out at some of these restaurants. Although we go to quality restaurants that do serve farm to table food.
Yes, we do. So yeah, breaking your fast, that meal is going to be really important. Let's see some other comments. Let's see, we have Tom and Jeff has joined us. Hello, guys. Matt says, I quit eating after 5 to 6 p.m., a nut snack around 8, and then nothing until morning powdered shake coffee meal at around 8 a.m.
Sounds good.
Tom says, carbs are in everything. Yes, they are.
Yeah. Got to earn those carbs. That's the saying around here. You got to earn your carbs,
Bart,
meaning working out or walking or something.
yes, getting in your exercise, getting those carbohydrates out of your cells and being used by your body. Bart says, I do 18-6 daily intermittent fast and 1 40-hour fast per month. Nice, Bart.
Wow.
Walk 1 hour per day. It's working well for me. That is awesome.
Really?
Ron and I also do 18 and 6. So for 18 hours, we don't eat. And then we have, actually, ours is 16 and 8.
16 and 8.
16 and 8.
Yeah, 16
so for 16
and 8.
hours, we don't eat. And then we have about an 8-hour eating window from 9 a.m. till about, now it's about 5 p.m.
And I don't have any difficulty with that at all.
No.
I mean, we've been in that habit of not eating late, whether we were doing keto or not.
Yes.
So I don't have any problems with that. And I think for me personally, one of the biggest reasons is because I've done so much reading that indicates that if you don't eat later at night, it's much better for your hormone productions, particularly HGH and testosterone.
Mm-hmm.
So we really don't want to interfere with that production just because we haven't had discipline to not eat late at night.
Yeah. Well, and I think the good thing with keto also is that you don't need as much discipline. It turns off your hunger sensations so that really eating a lot of times can just become out of a habit rather than a necessity or feeling like you actually have to eat.
Mm-hmm.
So for those who have just joined us, if you want to enter in the giveaway to win one of 3 books, I'll let you pick. The winner gets to pick one of their books.
These books cost me a lot of money. Now she's giving them away.
Oh my God. Tell us if you're doing keto or if you're not doing keto. Let us know if you're here just because you're curious and you want to learn. If you're doing keto, let us know how it's going. What's bringing you onto today's Facebook presentation. So let us know. Drop it in the comments. And in just a few minutes, we will choose our lucky winner. Mm-hmm. So back to autophagy. So what autophagy does is it's basically a process that happens inside of the mitochondria. So that's the energy part of your cells, what produces all of your energy. And this is throughout your entire body. You have more mitochondria in your body than you do cells, a lot more. So the mitochondria are really, really important. But if you have a poor diet, like it has too much sugar, if you're eating the wrong kind of fats, so those are like the rancid fats, that would be trans fats, those partially hydrogenated oils, oils that are in a lot of our processed foods, the vegetable oils that sound so healthy that are actually just stripped of all of their nutrients. They add deodorizers to them so that they don't stink because they actually are rancid. Those are the bad fats: soy, canola, corn. You want to avoid those fats, but those can all be damaging to your mitochondria. Same with, so a lack of exercise as well.
The mitochondria is really big. I remember being a physical education and health education student in college and sitting next to all the pre-med students. And I remember this stuck with me, that the mitochondria were the powerhouse of the cells.
Yes.
So it makes them work so much better. And in addition, what my experience has shown me, the readings I've done, is that as we age, we don't produce mitochondria the same way, which is really, it is a negative, and it's so impacted by your diet.
But it doesn't have to be that way.
No.
Your mitochondria don't have to slow down.
But generally, unless you combat it with diet and exercise, it will.
Yes. Of course, there's also environmental toxins and toxins that can, come into your body that can also harm your mitochondria. But with this process of autophagy, it's always happening when you're not eating anyways. You're always going to have this cellular cleanup going on, but it just happens at a very low level. And when you get into the fasted state, that's when it can really turn on, clean up those mitochondria that are not performing well. It's cellular debris, basically. You have this waste in you now if you have dysfunctional mitochondria. and autophagy will go in, they basically eat it. And now you have a healthy cell that eats the dysfunctional cell and uses that as fuel. So it's a really awesome process that our body does. And when you can fire it on in a fasting state, you can really get some great benefits. Help cleaning up toxins, cleaning up the cellular debris, cleaning up saggy skin, which to me just I had to like find out more when I heard that. Like people who do keto don't get saggy skin because, and you don't even need to do like a deep fasting to get these benefits. You can do moderate fasting, which is like intermittent fasting, like what Ron and I do. You can tailor to your own schedule. It doesn't have to be the same schedule that everyone else is doing. Do your own schedule, find out what works for you. But you can turn on these processes, and over time, these old cells are going to get cleaned up and get taken out of your body. These old proteins.
And you're made anew.
Yeah, and basically, yeah,
you're made anew. It really is true. It's interesting because we know that sugar breaks down collagen, and that leads to saggy skin.
Yes.
So it's the converse would be true, right? And so you were saying about protein and how that
that saggy skin, your skin, what's left over after weight loss is basically old proteins that your body doesn't need anymore. And through the process of autophagy, your body can go in and clean that up, and you can have tighter skin again. It's pretty remarkable.
It is.
Yeah.
Without getting a tummy tuck.
Without having to get a professional tummy tuck or a facelift. Yes.
We're not against those things if you need them, but this might.
But you can do keto instead. Right. Let's see. Kevin says, just started keto. Not that easy to get 75% good fat. It does take some time to really wrap your head around it. It does. Definitely. Yeah. You know.
That's been my biggest issue. We've said this now a few times.
Yes. When I did it, I said, okay, this is totally crazy, but I'm going to jump in with both feet and try it and see what happens. And really in a few days, you can figure out if it's working or not. Yeah. I figured out right away, then I would say the first week, not a few days, but in a week I gave it, and I was like, okay, I can feel why people are doing this and I want more of it. So that's what kept me going.
One of the things that I've really noticed is the inflammation coming down in my body, because there was times when I could feel it in my elbows, my knees, really to the touch. And so now I find myself going like this and saying, wow, I don't feel that same pain, that inflammation. And I do a lot of push-ups. So, I'm used to.
You're used to waking up and having pain.
Some soreness, but I'm surprised at the lack of it now.
Yeah. Reduced inflammation and joint pain is a big one that I hear people talk about when they're doing keto and how much better they feel. So yeah, those cells, they can't survive, those old dysfunctional cells, under the stress of they're used to that glucose and that immediate fuel. And so when they get stressed out in this fasting state, that's when they die basically, and then they can become food. And so that's why we do fasting and why autophagy turns on and is so fascinating, really, in the keto state. So we've covered autophagy, sugars. So now, like, what kind of a fasting window do you want to do? That is up to you. So when we talk about intermittent fasting, we're just talking about short windows of eating and longer windows of being in a fasted state. So we're eating every day. Ron and I are eating every day. It's a narrowed window down to 8 hours. We've even gone narrower as 6 hours. Some people will do 4 hours. Some people will eat once a day.
Well, my best friend, Craig,
yes.
he eats 22 out of 24 hours he's fasting.
Yeah. Some people,
and he's by the way, he's a big guy. He's a big guy, and he's used to eating his whole life.
The camera's over here.
Oh, I was just thinking about Craig. Sorry about that, guys. He's a big guy. He played football with me, and he's on what's called, I don't want to steal our thunder. He's on a warrior diet, they call it. It's not keto, but he only eats once a day and he fasts for 22. And I don't know how that's working out for him. We'll see. He says it's okay, but he looks good. So maybe I think the point is that like everything else with nutrition, diet, fitness, it's very individualized.
Yes,
And you got to find out
exactly.
what works for you.
Yeah, definitely. And so when you're having your eating window, that's when you're going to eat basically all of your, I don't want to say calories, but yes, all of your food, all of your calories are going to be narrowed into that window. And then the rest of the time, you're not eating. So Ron and I have also done a little bit longer fast. We've done two 36-hour fasts. And the biggest thing that I noticed with that is that we got really cold.
Oh, yeah.
You can get very cold when you're doing fasting. It's just a natural part of the process. You would think that you would get hot, like, oh, I'm burning all this fat. I should be warming up. But the opposite happens. So it's been a little bit harder to do it in these last few months because it's been really cold here in California. We've been waiting for the warmer months to come. And
I hope your mother doesn't watch this.
She's going to hear how cold it's been here.
Because she wants us to move back to Washington.
Yeah, we try and tell her California's sunny and beautiful all the time, but yeah, it's been cold. So
it's been a little cold and rainy, quite honestly.
We're going to have to schedule some more fasting, some longer fasts when the weather does warm up a little bit, and then it'll be more comfortable to do that. And then when we're doing fasting, so we're not eating food. When we're doing our longer fasts as well, right? No food. But you do want to make sure you're hydrated and getting your electrolytes. So
yeah, that's important.
Yeah, that's very important. And you might notice, you might feel a little fatigued or tired. Maybe you have a headache. Maybe you feel like a little bit of hunger. You can just put some sea salt on your tongue, some Himalayan sea salt that has minerals in it. Put some in your mouth. You might need a little bit more. And then you usually kind of like come back around again, or you can just make your own electrolyte water, which I included the link to that in the 4-page handout. So if you haven't tried that, Ron and I have electrolyte water every day, and you want to make sure that you keep your electrolytes up, but really that's about it. And again, though, if you are hungry, don't torture yourself. Go ahead and eat.
Well, we have apple cider vinegar for the first thing in the morning.
Yes, we do. And we do raw apple cider vinegar. Not on the second day of the fast, though.
Right.
So when we're doing a 36-hour fast, basically we didn't eat the night before, right? From like, let's say 5 p.m. the night before. Now we're going into the morning. Ron and I will have apple cider vinegar. It's just a habit, and it doesn't throw you out of ketosis or out of a fasted state. So we'll have that. And then you have water. You can have coffee as well when you're doing fasting, and tea. Those are fine.
How about the wine at the end of the day?
Yeah, no wine. No wine. It's not going to work.
Well, but we do have some wine.
And we have wine on keto, but
yeah,
not when you're doing fasting.
Oh, no, I'm getting confused. No, not on fasting.
No.
You'd be pretty.
That's a different kind of fast.
You get drunk fast.
Exactly.
No, but we do drink some wine on keto.
Yes.
And you purchased
yes.
a different kind of wine, right?
Yes.
That's much less.
It's dry wine, so there's no carbs.
No carbs.
It's been tested. We get that through Thrive Market. And yeah, that's
pretty good.
That's very good. So yeah, that's how we do our fasting, but you can go longer. Some people will say that in order to get into autophagy, to really get into the fasted autophagy state, that you have to do it for 72 hours. But there's so much research coming out about this, and it is still sort of new. So when I'm looking at a study, were they testing people who were, and usually these are not done in people, they're usually done in animals, these studies. Were they testing in a glucose state? Were they already in a sugar burner state? So that would take longer for someone to actually turn on that autophagy. Or was that subject, were they already in ketosis and now they're going into the fasted state, and that turns on autophagy much sooner than if you were a sugar burner. So whatever duration of a fasting state that you choose, make sure that it works for you. And yeah, like I like how Bart's, once a month he does a 40-hour fast. He does a prolonged fast.
I like that.
Yeah,
I like that.
That's really great.
Yeah, I think that's a great cleanup.
Yes. Yeah.
You really get a cleanup there, and you're really changing your digestive system.
Yep. You're letting it rest,
You're
letting it
rest,
heal.
letting yourself heal. I mean, truthfully, I'm sure so many people on the line today listening, know the benefits of fasting to some degree or another, including, we've read and see studies talks about how it tends to, well, how do I put this? Add to lifespan, can add to lifespan.
Yep,
It's actually one of the only things that is really attributed to longer lifespan is fasting.
Yes. Yeah. It is attributed to longevity.
Yeah.
Let's see. And we have a couple more comments here. Let's see. Matt says, I'm doing keto, but similar to Ron, I have difficulty getting enough fat. So I've been adding NCT oil in hopes to improve my percentages. Yeah, that's a great, add in more NCTs.
Yeah. What about the butter coffee? And that might be more palatable to myself and Matt. I've drank that coffee the other day. It was much better to me than eating butter on bacon. Okay. I mean, that really looked like if I were to walk into the doctor's office back in the day and they saw that, they'd want to do an EKG on me probably right away. But, it's not so much now. I understand the health, how it is healthy for you, the diet, and in particular, your cardiovascular system. It really is. But you still have to do it. So the butter and the coffee that you made the other day was very palatable, and it just it got me, I think, more into ketosis than I had been before.
Yes. Yeah.
So you might want to try that, Matt.
So that's often called bulletproof coffee, where you add in a tablespoon of butter and a tablespoon of medium chain triglycerides. You can put in coffee or tea, something else. If you don't drink coffee, it's fine.
And you can eat and you can drink other coffee as well. In that same period, I had black coffee, 1 or 2 cups of it, in addition to the butter coffee.
Yeah. And so that is something that a lot of people will use to break their fasted state.
Yeah.
Is that bulletproof coffee. And that kind of gets you more hours almost in a fasted state, because you're really only consuming fat and you're not really hungry. It can be very satiating. For me, it's almost too much, though. It's interesting. I can have one, and then like a few hours later, though, I'm still like...
It's pretty heavy. It fills you up quite a bit.
It does.
You'd be surprised.
Yes.
Yeah, it's an easy fix. Easy, obviously, to make. It's cost effective.
Yes.
Without
yeah, it's very easy to make. Yeah, easy to whip up.
Yeah,
Get your little whisk out and whip it up in your coffee. Matt says, have you ever tried ButcherBox? Yes, Matt. We use ButcherBox. So if you saw in our pantry video, the items, all of the meat that we have in our freezer is from ButcherBox. They have, we get it auto shipped to us, a box every other month.
You have a link for that on our site.
Yep, and there's a link for that in our 4-page handout guide. There's also a link to the bulletproof coffee recipe.
What's again? What comes in ButcherBox?
So ButcherBox is
varies,
all grass-fed meats.
Right.
Well, grass-fed beef. Cows are supposed to eat grass. They're heritage-raised pork. They're pork that are allowed pasture and allowed, to eat. Pigs are supposed to eat, dirt and mushrooms, and they basically are supposed to forage throughout forests. They're not supposed to eat just the junk, that they're used to getting in normal feedlots. So these are naturally and humanely raised, and the chickens are all organic. And they send us a nice variety. We get the variety pack. And then they also send us bacon.
Did we? Yeah, the bacon. And where did we get that lamb that we ate last night?
The lamb was from Costco. So lamb, thankfully, is not in confined feedlots and mass produced like they do with the cows. And so that's why you don't want to eat the meat, because it's contaminated, because they have to give it so many chemicals and they feed it junk. But with lamb, thankfully, they're not raised like that. So you can get really good lamb Costco has really good lamb. I also get it at Trader Joe's sometimes, but yeah.
How many years have we been ordering Butcher Box?
About 3 years, I think. Because
I thought it was something like that.
Yeah, it's been about 3 years. Yeah. And yeah, we love Butcher Box. Great meats. Bart says Ron breaks out the box of wine. Yeah, exactly.
What's that?
Drinking out of the box of wine, Ron. He's probably got a wine box under his desk.
And a couple of cannolis in there too.
No, Matt's 4-page handout. That handout, I'll include it in this link under this video. But if you're in the Health for Business Facebook group and you find the post where I'm keeping all of the videos are going to be housed there. All of the links to all of these videos that we're doing for the keto series are going to be in that post. Right below those videos, you have the link to the 4-page handout.
One of the negatives you'll hear people say about keto is that you eat a good amount of meat, right?
Well, that's what people think, but it's not Atkins. It's
what
moderate protein.
Right, it's moderate protein,
Yes.
but you're still eating meats as compared to somebody who's a vegan.
But you don't have to eat meat.
Right. But in the diet that we've been talking about, or ourselves, we eat meat.
Yeah.
One of the reasons that is people think of it in a negative term is because they don't. It's the quality of the meat.
Yes.
And the amounts.
Yes.
That you eat. So we're not going out and eating hamburgers from any which place, and in large volume, right? So we're eating quality meats, and quite frankly, I'm probably eating less of the total amount of meat now at a serving than I probably ever did in my life.
Yeah.
And I'm filled with
Yep.
it. I mean, it's literally a small handful of meat,
Yep.
but really quality with no steroids and hormones in it, which makes a huge difference in somebody's diet. I wouldn't eat this way otherwise.
Yeah.
If it wasn't that kind of quality meat that we were getting from places like Butcher Box, and you go to other places and buy natural foods at Costco and Whole Foods.
Yep. So Bart says, yeah, go ahead. Feel free to ask questions. We're going to be wrapping this up soon and picking our winner. Bart says olive oil on the vegetables. Yes. Sausage, eggs, fried in coconut oil, salmon, MCT oil, all good ways to get the fats.
Yeah.
Excellent, Bart. You've got this down, Bart.
Bart likes to cook too.
A pro. Yeah. Bart knows his way around the kitchen.
Bart knows his way around the kitchen.
Yes. Excellent, Bart. Yeah, those are all great. Yeah, you don't have to just do animal fats. You can do avocado, olives, olive oil, coconut oil. You can get your nuts and seeds, great sources of fats.
Yeah, I'm a big advocate of avocados now, having read a lot about the health benefits of them. And in addition, and you might know better than me or more than I do, but there's something in avocado when you eat it in combination with meat, particularly like when I go out and have a hamburger, you'll make a hamburger. I always have avocado with it because for some reason, I don't know exactly what it is. It's supposed to have some positive impact on the meat that might have a negative impact on your body. And that's as well as I understand it, but I've read it enough times.
I haven't read that.
That I do that all the time. I'll have avocado with, in particular, hamburger.
Nice. Okay, so it's time to pick a winner. Let's go through here. Let's see. Okay, I am going to pick a winner. It's just,
How do you do that?
I'm just going to pick someone.
Oh, this is, what do they call this? Is rigged. This is rigged. It's an Italian thing. This is in New York. Bart, this is rigged. Probably Bart's going to win.
Actually, I was going to pick Shannon.
Okay, I'll go for that. Women, right? Okay. All right.
Well, Shannon was the first to comment. She's also been very active in our group.
Bart lost 50 pounds. 60 pounds.
Do you want to give a book to Bart too?
I think we should be fair.
Okay.
This
okay,
we
I'll
have
pick
to
a winner.
be
You pick a winner.
Gender right here and politically, all of that stuff.
Politically correct.
Correct.
So, PM myself, Lacey, PM me and let me know, Bart and Shannon, which one would you like us to send you? Send us your address and we're going to ship you whichever book you want, okay? Keto Clarity, Fat for Fuel, or the Keto Diet.
We have 3 books. We only have 2 winners.
Honey, these are my books. I'm going to go on Amazon and send
Oh.
the winner the book.
Oh, okay.
I'm keeping these books. Don't worry. Don't worry.
Those are your books that I pay for? Oh, yeah, right. I got you.
Yeah.
All right.
Don't worry, guys. I love these books. These are staying in my library.
I was wondering about that.
Okay.
Okay.
We are live, honey. Okay.
That's the problem, I told you.
I know. Don't do these live videos. Okay. Bart says, eating more vegetables than I ever have, 20 net carbs.
Wow.
Nice. Good job, Bart. Yeah, I'm probably about, I probably have about 20 net carbs when I do add in all the veggies, because I do like to have a big salad now. And before, when I first started keto, though, I couldn't have a big salad. Bart says, Ron wins. Shannon says, yay, thanks. All right, awesome, guys. So if you guys don't have any more questions, we are going to wrap up this video. Again, go to the Health for Business Success Facebook group, where you guys are probably watching this right now. That is where we have all 5 videos, the links to all 5 of these videos. Just search for the video, How to Keto A to Z. You search that hashtag, and you're going to find the post where I'm keeping all of these videos for the whole series, including the 4-page handout, and that offers quick tips. It's a little cheat sheet in there for how to get started with keto foods that you want to keep in mind, and some of the products that we use and we love while doing keto. Yeah, so.
Well, now, Matt has been on every one of our seminars, and he has really provided a lot of information.
Okay.
So I think that Matt deserves a book too.
Matt, Ron wants to give you a book as well. Okay, we're going to be out of books pretty soon.
So we have 3 winners today.
We have 3 winners. Ron is feeling very generous as usual. So Matt, let us know also. Please PM me
with
your address,
want.
And we will send you one of these awesome
Not
books.
3 per person now.
No. You only get 1 book. Choose 1 book. We have 3 winners: Matt, Shannon, and Bart. Thank you, guys.
That works.
Do you feel better now?
Yeah, I mean, come on. Gotta have Matt in there.
It's Christmas for everyone. All right. Thank you, guys.
Thanks a lot, guys. We appreciate all your participation, going through this journey with us. It's a lot of fun. Making health our priority is going to pay off big dividends.
Yes, definitely.
Thanks. Have a great rest of the day.
Bye, guys.